Okay everyone, today's going to be exciting because at the end of this lesson you should be able to play 20 different songs. I'm excited for you. And it all depends if you know these 4 chord shapes. And I did a lesson a long time ago now called This Should Be Everyone's First Guitar Lesson. And it got really popular, and it's really awesome because it drove a lot of people to my website and people kept learning. And after learning a handful of chords, a lot of people are asking, well, what kind of songs can I play? And so this is kind of what that video is for. Here on YouTube, I'm just going to be showing you the chord progressions, but on the website, we'll be getting more into the specific strumming patterns and the details about certain chords and notes that we're going to be playing. But today, as long as you know these 4 chord shapes, you're going to be fine for learning 20. I think it's actually 21 of these songs. Let's get started right away. So we're going to start with this G shape. It's going to be the doubled fingers here, not the single. Some people play G like this. We're going to use these today. Be sure to follow the chord chart because that's going to help you out here. C at 9. And that's an easy switch, right? You just got to bring the fingers over. D chord. And then E minor. Those are going to be our 4 chords. Hopefully you can read a chord chart. If not, jump over to the website. We teach it all there. Okay, let's get right to the songs. First song we're going to do is the one that everyone thinks you should know when you start guitar, Sweet Home Alabama. Now, instead of doing the picking part, which is a lot of fun, we're just going to do the chords today. We're going to keep it very basic. So let's start off with the D chord, to the C at 9, to the G, and then one more G. So that's basic level 1. D, C at 9, G, twice. If you want to bring it up a level, go ahead and play 3 Ds, 3 C at 9s, then 2 sets of 3 for the G. When you get really good, you can start getting fancy. That kind of stuff. But for today, let's just keep it at that chord progression. You'll still be able to sing along to it, and people will be able to sing along with you too. It's going to be a cool way to jam with people just by playing these chord progressions. Now, back when my band used to play this song, we used to transition into Can't You See by the Marshall Tucker Band, because it's pretty much the same chords. It goes from D to C at 9 to G back to D. Then you start over with D again. So very similar chord progressions, but now the feel is a bit different for the Marshall Tucker song. Isn't that a great sound? Now some people are freaking out about the strumming. Don't worry about that. You could easily play 4 just downstrokes. But I assume some of you have been working on some strums, so feel free to throw those in and just try it. Everybody loves AC/DC, so let's go ahead and do You Shook Me All Night Long, the basic version, but we're going to have the G chord, C at 9 a few times, back to G, C at 9, G, D. So the hard part is switching that quick between chords. Then we go G to D back and forth. It's great because each one of these songs has its own lesson inside of it. So this one's going to be fast chord switching. So get used to that. Here's what it sounds like without interrupting. People will instantly recognize that. All right, I think this song is about a stalker, but it really goes. I love that. It's a great picking exercise. Not going to worry about that today. I just wanted to get the sound into your ears. We're actually just going to play the chords behind it. So we're going to start with G, E minor, C, right to D, and then to G. Now some of you guys may have caught something. I did regular C that time when I said we were only going to be doing C at 9. Now that's just for people at the very beginning levels to go to C at 9. But if you already know the C chord, go ahead and use that if you want to in this case because it sounds great. So I might be changing up C at 9 and C quite a bit. They're interchangeable in a lot of these songs. So choose the one that fits best for you at your level right now. All right, so that's going to be Every Breath You Take, just played with chords. All right, my friend loved the band Third Eye Blind, and they have a song called Semi-Charmed Life, and it goes like this. But you could play a basic version of it by going like this: G, D, C at 9. Now that sounds pretty far off, right? Because the other song, the actual riff has these fast picking, alternate picking, or alternate strumming. So go ahead and throw that in if you really want to. That could be the lesson of this song. We have G and a bunch of Ds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go to the C at 9. And this is a little more complex strum, but you can go. That's fine. It really goes. It's got these percussive elements to it. Don't worry about those today. So let's keep it real basic. G, D, C at 9, C at 9. I love Neil Young. Rockin' in the Free World was one of the heaviest songs growing up for me. And we could break it down with just some open chords today. So we can go E minor, be a little aggressive with this one. Then we have D to C at 9. So that's a lot of it, but then the chorus comes and he kicks into G. So this is actually the perfect song for this video. So we have G, D, C at 9, and then we're gonna go C at 9 to E minor. It's a great little switch right there, back to G. I don't know if you guys remember Hootie and the Blowfish. They had a song called Let Her Cry. And I remember I taught my friend 3 chords, G, C, and D, and he came back and already knew this song. So it's a great one for beginners. So we have G, D, C at 9, G. So it's this nice little circle. G, D, C at 9, G. And then the chorus goes like this. I'm gonna go to regular C now. So C, G, C. Now there's 3 chords in a row. This is the lesson for this song. E minor, G, D. So that's the chorus. So the chorus goes C, G, C, G. And the 3 chords in a row. E minor, G, D. Back to C. G. Let's hang on D for a little while. C. And G. So if you want, you could play regular C for the whole tune. That's totally fine as well. I kind of like switching them up a little bit. It's a fun challenge. There's a band called Candlebox. One of their best songs is called Far Behind. It was a huge song in the 90s. And we could break it down into basic chords like all these songs, but it has a really great guitar line, so be sure to check out the real song. We're going to go G, D, E minor, C at 9. All right, now's a really great time to show you an alternate way to play E minor. We could do the E minor 7 as well, and you're going to see great benefit in this. If you play the G, you have these double fingers going on, right? We'll just take your 2 free fingers and just put them where the E minor usually is with these fingers, but with these this time. So you have 4 fingers down, but listen to the sound. Such a 90s sound, I love that. So you could actually do Far Behind with that in place of E minor. So now that'll be E minor 7. So you get this. See the little transition help there? Since these are already down, going from E minor 7 to C at 9 is a breeze. Then of course back to G. So this can stay this way for most of the song. When you go to the D, you lift up your pinky, but that ring finger is still going to be down. Such a great anchor. So that's the lesson for this song. 3 Doors Down came out with the song Kryptonite. Everyone, including me, loved that song. And it comes down to a different song of theirs that fits this lesson perfectly. A song called If I Could Be Like That. And it starts off with G, goes to D, E minor, and then C at 9. Sounds a lot like Far Behind, right? But the lesson for this one is going to be you could pick individual strings and get a different sound now. Does Isn't that crazy? Just by picking individual strings, it sounds so much different than if you play the full chords. So let that Three Doors Down song be your lesson for arpeggiating. That's what that's called. Have you guys heard this before? Used to be one of my favorite songs, still is, I guess. And we're not going to do that today, even though it's a lot of fun. We're going to do it in chord form. Isn't that great? Then the chorus goes to E minor. To C, I'm going to do regular C here. E minor, C to D. There's so much in store for you in the future. I'm so excited. Once you get this down, you'll have such a great foundation. Eric Clapton, one of his biggest songs, one of his biggest ballads was Wonderful Tonight. And we used to play that and it would just fill the floor. People would just start slow dancing. But it's G to D to C. We'll do regular C. Back to D and back to G. So it's this kind of interesting way of moving your fingers because you're going from G to D, which has that connection point with the ring finger. This regular C, there isn't much to anchor to. Back to D and back to G. This is another one you can arpeggiate. By the way, if you're not sure which strings to pick, just go ahead and go in order for now. Later you could do certain patterns that we learn on the website, all right? Green Day had a huge hit. It's kind of funny. It was a ballad called Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. And it goes like this. All right, but we're not going to do all that picking today. What I want you to do is mostly the chords. So G, C add 9 to D. Now the strum I do is what I call the John Mellencamp strum, except I add one more upstroke at the end. And I already said we're not going to get too crazy into strum patterns, but this is important. So we're going to go down, down, up, down, up. That's going to be one strum. And if you do that with the chords first, later when you go to pick it, individual notes, you're going to have an advantage because you're already going to know what direction to pick just by doing the chord strums at first like that. So use that as the lesson for this song. Now we're to songs that are usually tuned down half a step, but I don't want to worry about that today just because I don't want you to have to worry about tuning when you're just trying to get these basic chord progressions down. So we're going to just do the chords in regular tuning. You're going to be off from the recording, so don't freak out if that happens. It's just because you haven't tuned down to where they actually are. So Sweet Child of Mine, we have D, C add 9, G, D. Then you start over on D again. Don't do what a lot of people do. They go D, C add 9, G. Then when they hit D, which is the fourth chord of the progression, they think they're starting over and then it throws off the timing. So don't do that. All right, it's weird when you don't hear, you're so used to hearing that, but imagine someone doing that over the top of your chord progression. It's going to sound just like the song. Plus, this is also part of the verse, so you can sing over it. All right, we have a little bit of the song Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. A lot of these hair metal ballads, as they were called, are great to play chords to. Practice strum patterns too. So we have G to C add 9. Back to G, C add 9. Now we just speed up the process. G, C add 9. G, C add 9. Hang on the D, C add 9, and back to G. And you just played basically 80% of the song. One of my favorite bands growing up was Alice in Chains, and got to see him live with Lane Staley before he passed away. And this song, I love it. It's one of my meditation songs. I put it on and I just chill to it. They do this interesting thing. Jerry Cantrell goes, he lifts up his index finger, but don't worry about that today. Sounds cool though. E minor 7 to D, back to C add 9. That whole Jar of Flies album is very magical, so check that out if you can. You guys have probably heard this. that lick for the Joker. Well, we're not going to do it in F. We're going to do it in G today. So instead of going, which we can do in the future, we're going to play the chords to it. So it's G. We're going to stop it like that. C at 9. Stop it. D. Back to C at 9. Sounds a little bit like Beverly Hills by Weezer too. That could have made the list. Anyway, eventually you could add the. So in the future, that's all going to come together for you. But for right now, just practice the chord progression, and the lesson for this one will just be stopping the chord after 2 hits. I just use my picking hand. Now, hopefully you guys have a capo. If you don't, and you don't know what one is, we're not going to bother with it today, but it's something you place on the guitar that basically moves this nut of the guitar up so you could play all your favorite chord shapes and just sound higher as it moves up. So this song you'd have to do to be in the real key of the song, but we're not going to worry about that today. We're just going to play Purple Rain in a different key. So Purple Rain is usually in A. We're going to do it in G today. But watch how these chords just flow. It's G, E minor, D, C at 9, back to G. What I love about Purple Rain is it's circular. So you have G, E minor to D to C at 9. So it makes this nice little round pattern for you to keep playing, and it sort of puts you in a groove that you don't have to think too hard. You just feel that it's right over time. There's a band called the Gin Blossoms who I loved from the 90s, and they have a song called Hey Jealousy, and it's usually up here. If you were to capo, it would be on the 2nd fret, and you would just play higher. We're just going to play it in this open position. So we're going to have the C at 9 chord, D, E minor, back to D. That's kind of interesting. We haven't done that yet. C at 9, D, E minor, D. So that's the verse. And then for the chorus, it goes to G, which is nice. So it goes. So that was G to C at 9. E minor to D, hang on the C at 9. And you start over. C at 9, D, E minor, D. So it's all about patterns for this one, for most of these. People love this song. Stand By Me, Benny King. We're going to do it in G though, so this is going to be a whole step down from where it usually is. Another song you can capo at the 2nd fret. And we're going to go like this, G. Another song where you can stop the chord. E minor. We'll do regular C to D, G. In the future, you could do what you've done with the Joker, what you've done with other songs where you go. So I changed my mind. For the last 2 songs, I'm going to bring out the old capo, and I'm going to put it on the 4th fret because a lot of people are used to hearing it in this key because it's the actual key of the song. But if you place the capo on the 4th fret, like I said before, it's like you took the nut of the guitar and just moved it up higher. So now if I go like this, 1, 2, 3 frets up, put my middle finger and make the G shape, it just sounds higher, doesn't it? Kind of sounds like a more mandolin-y version of the guitar. Especially if you move it way up, like if you're at the 7th fret, you get a real... Sounds great. People are like ordering a capo right now, I bet you. That sounded so cool. All right, so if I put the capo at the 4th fret and I play the G shape, it's not technically a G chord anymore. It's actually going to be called a B chord, but don't let that freak you out right now. I'm still going to call these by shapes. So we have the G shape to D shape, E minor, regular C. So Jason Mraz, the song's called I'm Yours, and that song was so big at one time, almost every student of mine wanted to learn it, and their moms wanted them to learn it as well. So anyway, you don't have to do that fancy kind of muting right now, but you could just strum it real slow. Which might feel like a letdown because you're so used to hearing like the kind Kind of makes it feel islandy. I don't know how to explain it. So go ahead if you want to use the side of your palm and do palm muting. We teach that on the side as well. And that'll get you kind of closer to in the ballpark of it. Then you got to add this feel to it. Kind of a reggae feel. Let's do the final song, and I'm going to dedicate this one to Taylor Swift. It's her song because she's the queen of the capo. If you ever watch her live, she just moves that capo around. We're going to go all the way up to the 7th fret. This is where I said it makes it sound very mandolinish, kind of ukulele-ish, very high sounding. We're going to use the same chords as we have been all lesson, and we're going to start here at the 10th fret, because if you put the capo at the 7th fret to make this G shape work, you have to start at the 10th fret. And we're going to go like this, all downstrokes. C at 9, E minor 7, we're back to doing that one, C at 9. It's kind of hard to fit your fingers because the frets are skinny here, but you can still do it. Even on an acoustic, you should be able to reach that. Add the palm muting if you want. That song's called Love Story, and a lot of people lie and say they hate that song, but I find it impossible to hate that song. All right, so we have that down. You guys have a lot to work on. That's 20 to 21, I think. Different mini lessons, but they all include the same chords pretty much, and you should be able to play them all very soon. And if you're already good at those chords, you should be able to already play these by the end of this lesson with me. Now it's just a matter of choosing the ones you really like and diving deeper into them. Visit us at theartofguitar.com to learn all those extra details and those techniques that you're going to need to really bring these to life. So hopefully that was fun for you guys. Had a lot of fun teaching it. We'll catch you at the next lesson. Okay, thanks. Bye.